What's up?
Hello everybody, and welcome back to the LJL Officially Unofficial cast coverage of the LJL 2020 Spring Split Playoffs, featuring DFM facing off against V3 Esports. DFM have taken a lead, and now they're on match point 2-1 in favor of DFM. Gentlemen, we just witnessed a game that I don't think any of us were really expecting from this series for it to go down quite like that.
Yeah, I think that DFM's level 1 plan, walking into the bot side jungle with the Nautilus, really upset V3's map state and their win conditions, right? I was talking about it in the draft. If the MF comes out of lane doing fine, then you have so many tools to both protect her and set up for the bullet time. We saw glimpses of what that combo could do when we saw a 2-man Galio taunt into the bullet time. But at that point, bot lane were just too far behind. Yeah. And while V3 won the mid 2v2, it just wasn't enough to swing that game.
I mean, just looking at the post-game breakdown chart that's currently on stream at the moment, you have to look at it. There is a chance that Misfortune could have broken into this game if they could just have an extra 15-20 minutes. The problem is they were never going to get that times because of the just initiation that DFM had on their side, from my opinion.
Yeah, it's not even just that. It's like it's not like an MF versus like some low-end AD carry. This isn't a Aphelios with multiple items. This is a Ziggs with multiple items. Like, it's all well and good getting that fight, but there is going to hit a point where those carries are going to absolutely eviscerate people. That's kind of what happened. The Misfortune was always in a difficult position when she did get that far behind.
So, would I be crazy in saying, would we like to see a different support instead of Yuumi in that spot? Maybe? Does that affect much? Or are we very happy with the strong known lane that MF Yuumi is?
I genuinely think V3 have a better draft this game in a lot of ways. I think that I genuinely think that if that Gromp fight had gone the way of V3 run into the mid game, and even though the bot lane had died early, I think they're happy running with that game, and there's a good chance of them winning. I genuinely think just using that Galio ult on the Gromp, then committing to a fight without it, and then just messing up all sorts of crazy stuff. That was what really set it behind. So remember, that was a 5 for none. I think without that, and then you turn that into a
it would have been a bit more even.
I reckon with the game state happening like that, and then Galio being able to get priority, Trundle being very weak, I reckon V3 have a good chance of winning that game. But for me, honestly, Archer and Reyna have to be more respectful if they're weak side. That was not a good showing from them.
I mean, that's not characteristic of them, is it?
It is and it isn't. We have seen Archer and Reyna on the back foot look to outplay. They did it
when you don't need to.
And they did it versus CJ and got put in a very difficult position. Remember, there was that one game with the Aphelios where I think Archer went like 0-6-5, something like that. And that was often, again, off the back of not playing the weak side lane particularly well. And there is also just this issue. It's like, it's all well and good saying, yes, they had a great win condition in terms of get the Rek'Sai Galio in, do a lot of damage with it. That's the idea. You let the Misfortune do a bullet time over the top. But on the converse, actually, Misfortune never had a way to really avoid the Nautilus. She was very much struggling to avoid that. And the moment you're knocked up in that and you land a Ziggs ult on top of that with an Aphelios ultimate as well, even for the moment where you're knocked up, she cannot do anything with that.
But the counter to that is you threaten their backline if they're going to do something like that. And the Rek'Sai Galio combo should do that, but not when you're that behind in that game. Like I said, Galio taunt into bullet time, really good combo. Rek'Sai is a good vector for Galio to get to the backline, much like a Jarvan, but Rek'Sai has the better early game kind of potential. And that's why we saw, the Ziggs flash burned early, the Trundle dying and burning flash early in that mid-2v2. There's workings of a good game were there from V3, but the crucial part of the bot lane just fell to the ground.
I mean, how do you fix that then? Is the $100 question, right? Is the $1 million question?
The level 1 was really good from DFM, setting up the strong side of the map. I think the first time when bot lane died, Boogie was on Wolves. I think at that point, the communication between the team just needs to be more clear that Boogie was not there to turn into a 3v3.
Sure.
That was after Boogie had gotten the kill, so he got himself ahead early.
He had.
So I think if Boogie was on the same side of the map at that point, maybe you can turn that into something which is more V3 favored. Obviously, that didn't happen. Bot lane died again, and at that point, the snowball was really, really rolling.
I mean, something of note from this pick and ban phase was that Gnar that we have in our podcast. Go watch or listen to episode 13 of our podcast. We cover Gnar to some degree with Ebby and how it was just this vulnerable pick, as Nightmare mentioned during the pick and ban phase. that they lost 3 times against Sengoku playing Gnar, and I don't think Gnar was much of an impact on this game. I mean,
it was the one fight round dragon. That was it, really.
Yeah, but I mean, the game was kind of won through other means in my eyes.
It could have been most things, I agree.
Yeah. I think Gnar's not a bad weak side top laner in that you can outplay with the Mega Gnar. The hop and flash is really good to stay safe, so that makes a lot of sense on that front. And actually, there were some very good teleports. We talk about the one down the dragon. There was another one to deal with the Galio when we saw the pan across to where they were trying to engage on Gang. That was another great TP from Gnar in there that was stopping a lot of Galio, and I think Boogie, there wasn't Boogie, somebody else as well, trying to get into that fight, which was pretty good as well. So I think more than anything, it was just like, this is a really safe topside pick that we're staying alive. So I kind of agree, but the topside safety was good.
I mean, it could have been almost anybody. It could have been Cho'Gath, and I would have been just as
like
impressed.
An Aatrox,
yeah.
But...
I mean, anything that's half decent. I mean, Gangplank would have arguably been just as good, if not better, because it's against
I think it was banned, actually. So it was banned away to prevent that.
Well, I mean, always Seton and Renekton are getting banned, because you're not giving that to Ebby. We're not doing level 1 where
you don't do that.
You're an Ornn and you're behind your turret at level 2. Well, no, level 1, because Ebby says you can't play your lane, because that's the kind of stuff that's been happening currently in the LJL. That's how good this man is on that champion. Who's been an all-star currently for you both throughout these games?
Gang was really good, actually.
Yeah.
I think Saros has also just been really showing up.
As is Utapon.
Actually, yeah. Honestly, most of DFM have been doing really well. Ebby hasn't found all of the advantages which he would like to have had. But he's still been but things that we expect excellence out of Ebby. In so many ways, he's arguably the LJL's best ever player. Right now, he's being contested by Yuto Miyashi, by Boogie, by Aria, but some other big names hanging around there. But Ebby has been like the long time pinnacle of the LJL, and he's had
he's gone all over the world playing for the LJL.
Yeah, and I have some credit as well, I think, towards DFM's bot lane, right? Like they, Ebby knows what the DFM know what their win conditions are. I think it's fair to say, and like they knew actually we're setting up this level 1, so Ebby will be weak side, the bot side where we need to shut down this Misfortune, and they did it this time. Game 2 they couldn't pull it off. Remember, they tried to dive, it didn't work out on the Varus. Game 1 again, they tried to go for the flash ignite play that didn't work out. This time it really, really did.
It did,
and so that's, to me, it's as well just DFM knowing their win conditions and playing to them very well. And even adapting them in game 1 when it was looking like their initial win condition wasn't working out. So that was good work. Yeah,
I mean, if you're from the side of V3, you just want a repeat of game 2, because that game basically won perfectly in almost every aspect. You couldn't be caught out. You got the soul, and it was good this time. It is interesting that V3 seem to be aggressively getting the dragons, getting the soul, and not having a 100% win rate, which is not my experience in solo queue. Because
game 1 was weird, man.
It was weird, but we're about to get into pick and ban phase, so let's find out how these teams come out. Good luck to both of them. Gentlemen, take this away.
Thank you again, Maswan. And we are here at match point for DFM. And loser's choice means V3 are on the red side as they've selected. That puts DFM back on the blue. Elise, Yumi are their bans. It's still that Heimerdinger. It's still that set. And I suspect it'll be a Renekton last for V3 as well.
Unless they want to ban away the Varus. It depends what they really think about the first pick potential. Of course, Ornn is still available. DFM banning away the Varus, and now V3, you got to make a choice, Ornn or Renekton. That is the gauntlet that's been thrown by a DFM.
Do they show Graves?
They could do that themselves, yes. Of course, Boogie had the 2 games on that thus far. Graves banning it themselves, so actually V3 choosing maybe to do the trade here. See what he wants to lock in as this first pick for DFM.
Does he go to the Ornn? But that means the Renekton's available for Paz, and Paz is a pretty good Renekton. So
yeah, go back, go watch last split semi-finals. Actually,
very curious. Ebby doesn't care. They've gone towards the Trundle and says, if you pick up the Ornn, we've still got the way to take out your tankiness, and I will still get to play Renekton.
Okay, all right. So locking in the Ornn themselves. That'll be something back. Okay, running back the Aphelios into DFM. That's pretty good.
Little bit, not from his fortune, that's for sure. See what DFM look to go towards. I suspect we might see the Renekton pickup here.
Yeah, there's a chance actually we see an early Syndra pickup from DFM.
Yeah,
Syndra,
they flex it.
It's a flex, and more importantly, Syndra is one of the better picks into Aphelios, one of the mages which can really make him suffer.
Oh, curious.
Okay, hovering over the Not already. They
They have
are
locked it
locking
in.
it in.
They
Okay,
have locked
alright.
it in. And again, if they pick up the Syndra here, it's a takeaway from Ace. It's also a flex. Utapon plays a decent Syndra in the bot
Yeah.
side. So that's something. I would love a Teemo. It would be almost the
No.
most BM option
No.
available, but they're looking perhaps more towards
I
a
actually think V3
Misfortune.
should lock in Thrasher. I think Thrasher would be really good.
Yeah, keep the Aphelios safe.
Reyna is a really
Reyna's a
good
great
Thresh.
Thresh.
Syndra is also really good for Ace as well. That'll be another priority pick. There are a lot. I mean, they could do something like lock in Syndra, then pick up the remainder of Thresh or Nautilus if those two were to be left up. Both of them really good with the Aphelios, as we've seen. And Reyna is 5-0 on both Thresh and Nautilus. Could also pick up something like a Tom Kench as well. He's pretty good at that pick too.
Maybe a Rek'Sai wouldn't be an awful choice, but they have gone towards that Thresh we were talking about. It's great, keep your Aphelios alive. Reyna is also just damn good at that champion.
Oh, I was wrong about him being 5-0 on Thresh. It's the Tom Kench is 5-0.
Yes, yes.
Yeah,
He's lost a couple on.
But this is the priority lane for Aphelios. It's Reyna's best champion. It's something which he's pulled off absolute miracles with before. V3 haven't picked up themselves a jungler yet. Their Ornn can still be flexed between mid and top lanes. There's a chance that Ace picks it up in the mid lane too. V3 banning away the Braum just in that isolated vacuum of, well, it's pretty good against the Ornn.
Yeah, it is for good versus against the Ornn. And Misfortune with an Ornn to hide behind is also a good way
Braum.
to. So, Braum. There we go. I will get this right. Another Freljordian sort of figure. See what the ban is here from DFM, but I kind of like that Braum ban. I think it's a good way of keeping that.
It's
that
another field support,
yeah,
right?
another field support, and that that's important with a Misfortune keep alive. Evelyn taken away. They know what Boogie's like. That's not a bad thought, and I was vilified, mocked gently by my fellow caster. Yeah, I'll never think about the Evelyn. Evelyn ban.
I do that as a matter of course, to be honest. That's what you get.
This is what I get. Nautilus.
Right.
My ego does need deflating occasionally, so yeah, there we go.
So obviously Graves taken away, Evelyn taken away. Rek'Sai still available from the last game. It is one of Boogie's favorite champions. He was 4-0 going into this series, now 4-1 with that last loss. I do think that Rek'Sai is pretty good into Saros' champion pool. Rek'Sai is one of the best mid-ganking champions in the game in the current meta right now. So maybe DFM will ban that away. They're actually going to ban away the LeBlanc instead. Ace has not picked it up this series, but he is still very good at that pick.
I wonder whether they just pick up
Syndra is
the
still
Syndra.
available.
Yeah,
Syndra would be pretty good here.
Unsurprising to me if they do go towards that Syndra. Certainly an option for them, but they're going to take their time thinking about it. Don't want to give away too many options. They've got a jungler. They've got a mid laner to pick up. They'll pick up the Rek'Sai and they'll leave last pick available to Ace.
Right, okay. So giving last pick to a mid laner, normally a good thing. Seen that happen many times throughout League's history. Having counter pick in the mid lane does tend to give you certain advantages in that spot. And also, Boogie's just very comfortable on the Rek'Sai.
He absolutely is. We'll see what DFM go towards. They might go towards the Syndra themselves. Maybe they think about Cassiopeia. Kassadin would be an interesting option here. But Azia makes a lot of sense, and it will be locked in.
It is. Again, this is another pick which can be abused by Rek'Sai early, and we already saw that. I mean, Rek'Sai, if you get the drop on the Trundle, can be a very good matchup. DFM now hovering over what would be their support pick. Could be the Taric. Gang has played it multiple times this split already. It's not the definite engage of something like the Nautilus they had the last game, so they don't necessarily have the go button they had like they had in a couple of other games this series. And V3 looking towards their final pick.
Yeah, and they're thinking about the Zoe here. It's not bad into, is it? But we've already had our conversations about not being wildly impressed with Ace's Zoe. So if he's going towards this, would perhaps be a little bit disappointing for us. And from production's moans of disappointment, he's actually gone towards a Zilean, which is interesting because we have seen that into Azir once or twice. Kind of a soft counter in some ways.
In some ways. Okay, so the reason they want to pick the Zilean here is kind of, it's a little bit of a roundabout point, but obviously it's kind of similar to the Xerath thing.
Take me on a journey.
You have some dedicated CC from V3, which is, you have ample amounts of CC, right? You've got Call of the Forge God. You've got yourself the Knockup from the Searing Charge from Ornn. You've got the Unburrow from Rek'Sai. You have yourself the Gravitum from Aphelios, and you've got the Hook from the Thresh. So if the Zilean is nearby, the first CC lands, the double bomb lands, it's a hell of a lot of damage. It's a lot more CC as well, and V3 can potentially look to delete that first target. You also chuck a bomb on top of the Rek'Sai as well as they go in, amongst other things. It's not something we've seen Ace play so far. I don't know whether it's a preferred pick. This could be something that could just be abused by the Azir. Saras has been playing very well this series thus far. Only thing left to do is see how it turns out.
I completely agree. And at least for Boogie this time, once again, he's got some lanes. which should be perhaps a touch more even, and that might give him a little bit more room to do stuff. We've seen what Boogie's like when he's struggling to find places to gank. And this time around, I feel like he's probably got a bit. The bot lane's got some options, mid lane's got some options, a lot of CC in the top lane that are places with that Rek'Sai can impact.
Okay, so we have a quick break before game comes in. So, Mass Swan, this is game 4. This is match point for DFM drafts in. Do you have any particular thoughts so far?
I actually really, really love the Zilean. The more I think about it, the more I actually love this comp from V3.
I love the idea of going late game and having Zilean speed up on Aphelios to kite away from the Trundle Manar. I really like that.
If they can get it to work, this is not an easy comp for V3 to what's the way to do it? Like symphony and orchestra. They're composing this team.
Coordinates. Cool. Synergize.
Yeah, it's not an easy team to really bring together. But if you can do it, you will definitely beat DFM's draft.
I also think that the Thresh into Trundle I like quite a lot, because we saw a few times where basically people would get caught out by the pillar and have no way out. Reyna uses lanterns exceptionally well, and that ability to pull someone from across the wall from behind a pillar could be pretty big, because Steel has been really neutering a lot of disengages by putting up good pillars. That lantern could be a lifesaver for V3.
I also think that the Rek'Sai, particularly in this game, really needs to prop up a lot of these lanes. If you manage to get a couple of early games, manage to stabilize the map, and we do get to this point where we've got, like multiple item Zilean. I actually really want this to be a Glacial Zilean, by the way. I want it to be GLP. The Glacial means that Trundle finds it very hard to stick around team fights.
Oh, yeah.
Same with the Gnar, same with the Taric, right? So if you get to the point where you have like 2 items on the mid lane or 2 items on the Aphelios, and the Rek'Sai's done enough work around the map, I do like V3's comp.
So, quick question, very quickly. Are we going to Silver Scrapes or not?
Yes, I'm going to say it. Go on a limb. Yes, we're going to go to Silver Scrapes.
Okay.
So you heard it here first.
All right, Nightmare Silver Scrapes. Initialize. You keeping to your 3-1?
I will stick to 3-1. I think DFM have been playing well. I think
I think
the laning prowess from DFM has been very good. I think they've got 2 pretty good scaling carries in the Misfortune and the Zia. I think that's a lot there. That's a lot of stuff. And even if you do get engaged on, having the Shurima Shuffle, having that Cosmic Radiance gives them a lot of room to outplay engages. And I think I give that edge to DFM as a result.
Okay. So, 1 for DFM, 1 for V3. Obviously, I'm sticking with V3 because that was my initial thought process. I thought V3 would be the ones in the game point situation right now. But, I mean, I'm still happy with a win because on the podcast, I did pick them as my team to win it all. But we all went different with who we think's going to win it all. So only one
of you two is losing today.
One of me or Initialize is losing here. Yes, Nightmare has already hedged his bets and went for Sengoku because better to be lucky than good.
It's 2 results based. That's what it is.
Yeah.
That's our analyst here. Loves that results based.
Wow, yeah. That's
results based thinking.
That's the only way I can judge teams.
Well, gentlemen, it's game on time, so we're going on to the Rift to find out if DFM can close this match or if V3 can reign victorious. Good luck to both these teams. Gentlemen, take it away.
Reign victorious?
Come on, like if you're going to do low-hanging fruit, at least make it worthwhile. Come on, man. But
it is Glacial Zilean. It's Glacial Zilean.
It is. And you called that earlier as something you wanted to see. DFM match point here in the semi-finals. If they win this, they're looking for a rematch, a grudge match versus Sengoku Gaming, who are waiting in the finals tomorrow. If V3 can pull it back, they have a last gasp, but they pull it back to a best of 1 for all the marbles. Yeah. But we've got a game to play through before we get there, as Paz has got himself some Rampage? Of Rampage, which is another one of Ebby's X teams. He's just there looking for the tilt. That BM game is on point.
Yeah, it's doing pretty okay. I really like the Glacial and the Zilean, like I was saying. I think that eventually it gets to the point where you start, if you land a good Glacial across, particularly the Azir in a lot of ways, Ysir, the MF, and of course the front line, which are all melee as well, when you've got the Mega Gnar up and running, there's so much space you can buy for the Aphelios. So between the Glacial and then also the speed up, if Archer isn't immediately picked off, Archer should be able to carry the late game fights. The question is, will they get there? Last game, it didn't happen. We've got a jungle starts happening right now as well. These are unscouted this time, so maybe a couple of extra options for Boogie.
And of course, Boogie has started that top side. He might well be looking to get towards that bot lane where they've got a big win condition in that Aphelios Thresh. And considering how the bot lane went last game, I can understand wanting to really hyper prioritize that. Boogie's already pinging his way over to the blue buff.
Yeah, remember that you need level 3 to really get the full gank from Rek'Sai. You need the Umburo and the tunnel combo. And yeah, but with the flash knockup, with the red buff available, very much able to tilt this bot lane. Does have the heal barrier in the bot lane once again. It's the third time we've seen it this series, I believe, between the two teams combined. Early priority looks like it's getting it's being got by the Azir right now because his lane doesn't quite have access to the double bomb. So he does now anyway.
He does have it now, but remember, Rek'Sai has got the ability to burrow over that really thick wall in the bot lane, and that's very hard to scout out early on without having lots of wards available. And for now, DFM are kind of aware there's a gank opportunity for the Rek'Sai and are kind of pulling back a little bit, waiting for their wave to come through.
They are. There is a ward put into the river brush there. Utapon and Gang have walked up to the wave here, and it looks like Boogie is it's decided to call that early play off. Has reached level 3, now looking more towards the mid lane.
Yeah, Seros is pushed up, but Steel's around, so it would be a 2 versus 2.
There's
and
not
Seros
much
is
mana
hanging
on
around.
Seros. I wonder if he's got enough for a WE combo, actually.
That's a good question. Boogie is still there, but he's not managed to find anything, and Steel's on Raptors as well. I think it would be very much that 2 versus 2. Archer takes a pretty hefty double up there. But Gang looking for the stun, finds it. That's going to be another big trade onto Archer. Flay back in return, but there's already the Guardian Shield, and that mitigates a lot of the damage that would have come through.
Has done. So Boogie was actually spotted on the ward on the bot side river, so DFM now know where he is. Looks like DFM are playing backwards.
The emote span. Gang's like, come on, boys.
Bring it on, yeah.
That's it. And there comes some more of those old school LJL emblems. And I think that might have been possibly Reyna's old team. I forget now.
Okay, anyway, Steel's found his way up to the top lane.
He's on a ward, though.
He is on a ward. It looks like he's just going to go towards the Crows, getting some counter jungling done. Did get the Raptors away from Boogie as well. Looks like he's going to get spotted. He's counter jungling as well, so only the small popcorn chicken left.
And of course, you've got to remember, much like wolves, if you leave some of that camp alive, it does not respawn. That can be a massive thing when you're counter jungling. You leave one of those popcorn chickens up, and that camp is pretty much screwed until the jungler comes and clears it.
It's a healthy stack in League, though. Maybe not real life. I mean, it's a really good stack, but not the best thing ever. Oh, but that's unfortunate. Well, he finds it. At least he clears that out. Gonna find himself a couple of camps down, and also just not having any camps up on his side of the jungle as well. Ace will be able to push in a cannon wave, get a ward down onto. Actually get 2 wards down. Hadn't placed his early ward down. Gets. I think that's some really good vision into the bot side jungle, and Boogie's really good at playing around that kind of vision too. So hopefully V3.
Think about ganking through this raptor pit. Actually,
maybe I think
he's got to be a bit careful. Yeah. He just counter. No, he's just going for those raptors, returning the favor. As Steel's actually avoided all that vision by walking in this way. They think they're safe down here.
They do. There are 2 flashes available.
Oh, boy. That's a big one. They just get the stun. There's a lantern available.
Steel will run into Boogie here.
He will. It'll be on the vision, though, and I think everyone spotted. That's Pillar attempting to interrupt that tunnel. You can do that, but it'll be stopped. And Steel wanders back around into his own jungle. He'll realize his raptors are gone and move on from there. Azir managed to cheat a recall as well. I think that's the right use of that term to pick up the second Doran's ring. Forgive me, those who actually know what it is.
So Ace decided not to back at that same time, just try and get that vision down. That's basically the cost. It's a preferential back compared to some early vision. It looks like actually DFM from this and the prayer which has been earned by this Azir will get themselves an early dragon for one of the, actually V3 have been the guys to really prioritize a lot of the dragons, but DFM will take the first one in this game.
Yeah, they did. And much like the last game, it's a good start around that bot side for DFM. It's not as catastrophic, though, at least this time, as Seros is going in saying, I know your bombs are down. I can really trade onto you right now. And Ace forced away from this wave for now. Will be able to back, has got himself a teleport. Boogie over that wall, but Steel is not moving.
There's a teleport available from Ace if he goes back now.
There we go. They're going to teleport in. There, we're going to see how they do. Utapon's backing away. I think Gang is dead to right. So they're going to try and turn it around. Oh, Gang's flashing away. Ace is their first blood to Misfortune. That's a huge shuffle. There's no ultimates here. Archer is going to try and do as much as he can, but Deseros is doing a lot of work. He's going to pick up Boogie as well, I think. He does get the double kill, and now Archer's going to fall as well. And it's another bot lane play with teleports that goes the way of DFM. Second game in a row. It's 2-0-1 for the Azir. It's 1-0-3 for this Misfortune. It's a dead Aphelios. It's a dead Zillion. It's a dead Rek'Sai, and V3's dreams to get to the finals are heading towards life support right now.
Yeah, and the other thing is that basically the Mega Gnar was used to threaten Pad, so he couldn't teleport himself in the top side. So Ebby well in communication with that play. Steel sniffed this out so early. Boogie Chip gets over, but just he's slowed by so much there. It means that Gang gets to flash out immediately. And then, of course, Seros comes in with the huge shuffle. Doesn't even need to use flash to set it up. And Zillion, like, as much as he has the ult there, just can't get enough ground with his own speed up to get out of the... Get under the turret into safety.
At least Archer got a kill. That's something. But Gang living that long shouldn't have happened. And it puts DFM up to about a 2,000 gold lead. They've got first dragon already. And this bot lane, it's a BF sword already to this Misfortune, who can abuse those power of her AD pretty well. Reyna is stepping forwards, maybe looking for something, but he's got the flame with Gang out flash. I wonder whether they might think about that. But not sure they've got the damage right now.
I have to say, that kind of shows what happens when you've got, like, again, we've talked about it a lot in the context of playoffs, just reliability, right? Shurima Shuffle, actually, in that kind of situation, it's always going to land, right? You know that the flash is unavailable, or at least that there's been so much committed in the fight that it's very hard to disengage from the Shuffle. Whereas the double bomb from the Zillion is so situational. One of the things which is really going to be important for V3 is looking how they can really team up Zillion with other people. What you can do, you can go for a bomb onto the Rek'Sai, get the Rek'Sai to unburrow, and then you put the second bomb on top of them to get that CC combo down. It's a dedicated knock up into huge stun, into huge damage from Zillion, but we haven't really seen that level of coordination thus far from V3.
No, we haven't. And I also have to give series credit to Steel. This is a few games now where he's really read Boogie's early game. Like, even in the second game, like, actually Boogie was around where Graves wanted to be a lot until the bot lane got turned around by Reyna. And yes, Graves got ridiculously fed in that game. Played the mid and late game so well. But Steel's early games, I really have to praise. It's been very good. That's another good dazzle that's landed onto Archer.
Boogie's found his way bot side. Looks like Steel's there too. Again, junglers mirroring each other somewhat. Seros has first roam on mid lane once again, although this
level
time...
6 hit.
Yeah, level 6 is hit from the bot lane of DFM. Ace does at least manage to keep up in CS this game once again, much like the last game, but much like the last game again, it's the bot lane going the way of DFM.
And what is it about Utapon and Gang in playoffs and clutch situations where they just turn imperious? They have won multiple lanes here in pretty spectacular fashion. Now, that one, I grant you, was a lot of teleports, and that was also just great play from Steel being around, but DFM are looking calm and coordinated here.
They absolutely are. And remember, the winner of this series goes on to face Sengoku in the finals, the grand finals tomorrow. But unfortunately, no MSI for any of these teams. It's just for the pride to win the LGL. But that's pride enough. Knockup misses. Has suffering somewhat in the 1v1. Nah is a lane bully. What you normally want to do from this on is just nullify the lane and eventually turn up to a team fight and do on things.
And Ebby hasn't had to play weak side this time, and he's up 20 CS. Boogie's around, but he's actually backed away. They're going to try and gank this. This is potentially a bit risky. Subjugate's down, though, and that's a lot of damage. And that pillar was huge. I think Steel still dies for this. He does. So it's a 1-for-1. Boogie turned up. That's pretty good going, but Paz loses the wave under tower.
He does. At least Boogie managed to pick it up, and the Herald wasn't used top lane. It was picked up by Steel. It's currently in his inventory. Hook lands onto Gang.
Not sure they want to get much more out of there. The Sentinel turret came down. You don't really want to walk into that to do DFM and the rest of Utapon.
Wasn't too much choice in the matter.
No, he was given an offer he couldn't refuse, namely a death sentence.
Nice.
And
Sarah's making his way bot, but he's spot on a ward.
He's got another hook lands on the Gang, but that just puts him in range of the dazzle. Sentinel turret's out again, but yes, Seros is on the ward, and he's going to back straight back away. Remember, Ocean Drake spawns in about 2 seconds. Steel's on that side of the map. Boogie is not. He's going to back and try and be around. But I think Steel's just going to walk straight over and at least take up this scuttle crab.
Also worth noting, it is boots of swiftness for Gang. So he's got the extra in-combat movement speed with that. I really rate that in this game, right? Because you're trying to walk up and threaten that stun in the 2v2 against the Aphelios, who has himself tier 2 boots already, but you have the slight movement speed advantage because you've got swiftness boots over the likes of a combat pair of shoes.
Yeah, I also think there's something about versus the slowdown from the Zillion, who can put that on you. You know,
Yeah.
being able to counter that
Sure.
just a little bit to look for things can be kind of nice. Obviously, you're not
Doesn't
the-
help against the
exactly.
bombs,
You're
but-
not the prime target, but frankly, if you're trying to get the dazzle on people, having that extra movement speed advantage to catch up is a big deal.
It is pretty big, right? So second dragon goes over to Detonation FocusMe. They pick up the Ocean Drake, and it will be a Cloud Rift for game 4 of the semifinals of the LJL. And yeah, that's pretty okay for the side of DFM because they want their ultimate cooldowns off cooldown, particularly for the Terror Cult. But the soul itself is not the most important.
Yep, it's not. It's another cloud. We've said this before. It's not the biggest thing, but just more stats and more cooldown reduction for an Azir, for a Misfortune, for a Taric. Doesn't sound like a bad deal for me either.
Yeah, the individual dragons are fine. I think that Cloud Dragon is probably the most important individual dragon in a lot of games like this because you are so ultimate dependent as these team comps. For instance, you know, if you get Zillion ult off of cooldown quad a lot, that's very important. It's already a low cooldown going into the late game, but if you can reduce that any further, it just makes it even more effective, right?
Yeah,
Because with Cloud Dragon, effectively you're asking, which of these do I want to cast on cooldown? Those are the things which I'm going to use most effectively, right? Because some ultimate cooldowns, you only use them in very specific scenarios. You can't use them all game. But, you know, a lot of them are kind of fair weather. Let's just throw them out all the time.
that's kind of it. As DFM look to put some wards into the blue side jungle of V3, but V3 have kind of returned the favor in DFM's red side jungle, so they're kind of flipping vision centers there. And actually, those two pink wards in the two regular wards, I apologize, in the river, have not been spotted by DFM thus far. And that's giving V3 at least some knowledge about what's going on as a plate goes down in the mid lane to Seros. At least looking at Ace, he's got the GLP, and you did say that was a pretty big deal into things like the Zillion.
Ooh,
Like,
that was
actually,
very
Zillion's going to get shuffled in here, and that means he's put in a big difficult spot. He is going to use that Chrono Shift on himself, but I don't think it's going to save his life. He's got slow by the Make It Rain,
Just take
and
the
he's
damn
just dead.
lantern!
He's just dead anyway. I think he might have been warded out on that. I can't quite tell when that ward came down. That means he's dead, and this mid lane is under threat. There's still a Rift Herald available for Steel, who I suspect will be summoning it very shortly.
Yeah, so there wasn't the coordination between Reyna and Ace there to have the flash time.
Boogie's over the wall.
There is a Terror Cult here if they want to engage. That would be quite a dissuading factor. Herald is summoned, you're right.
Boogie is on the wall. Maybe he looked for something, but this would still be a 4 versus 3. And I think DFM are looking at it. Here he comes. Tries to get on Seros. He's in a difficult spot. He's got the flash, though. He does die anyway, so he'll go down 1 for 1. The bullet time is pretty good, but it's not enough to pick up any kills. And actually, that turret survives, and it's a good engage by Boogie.
Yeah, it is. And Boogie again finds himself an opening on the Rex side. He does this all the time on this champion, and it's a good. I believe that's actually a shutdown onto the Azir as well. He currently was 2-0 and 2 farmed up a lion's share of that farm in the mid lane too. So at least it is some kind of consolation. 4 plates go over in the mid lane though. It's not quite the first turret bonus, but that's really going to go over to a stiff breeze now, particularly with how Azir is pushing into that mid lane turret so often.
But they don't get the first turret with that bonus gold from the plates at least, and Boogie should feel a bit of a sigh of relief to find something back from a game that was looking pretty rough for a while.
Yeah, and the question is, you know, like how much does a Rek'Sai have to do in the early game to make it worthwhile? I think with the Zillion ult and the bombs, again, it's not quite the same as the Galio having that dedicated engagement saying, oh, Rek'Sai's just really good at delivering this to the backline. It works with the bombs, right? But it's not the same kind of level as threat.
Yeah, and the top lane is quietly still being left on an island, and that island is very Ebby favored right now.
Yeah, didn't know islands could sink.
They, under the weight of a very large Meganar come prehistoric monster thing. Yeah, apparently so.
Cool. Yordle, I guess, actually.
Yeah,
Nara's technically a Yordle.
He is technically a Yordle, just one with an unfortunate genetic problem.
Yeah.
He just needs anger management, man. That's all it is.
That's it. I mean, you should. Oh, there should totally be a skin for. No.
Oh man, I that might be a little bit on the nose. I don't know. See how it goes. Utapon and Gang looking for a thing. They do find the stun there, but it's a level advantage for Utapon, level advantage for Reyna on the other side, though. But I would take that on the AD carry.
It is. This game is much more even than it was in the last game. DFM with a solid lead, and they have some really well scaling carries. You know, this Azir has been unmolested in the laning phase. Only died that one time on the turret push there. Blue handoff now going off to Seros as well. But honestly, I feel like DFM are really happy, particularly with how Steel's been playing thus far. Oh, Steel just finds out Boogie there.
That's a pretty big one. And I think with the amount of kills and damage that's going on with Nash's as well complete.
That's horrible.
That's pretty mean. And actually the bot lane's going pretty in favor as well of DFM.
From Archer,
yeah, Archer's had to burn the
TP
TP behind. That's a decent Infernal. Here comes the call of the Forge God. Gang's in trouble. Utapon's also in trouble. I think he's going to try and turn it around. He's doing a lot of damage. Good lord, man. He picks up the kill and now he's in a back spot. Teleport coming in behind as well. Dazzle does miss onto Archer finally, but it's 2 teleports.
Oh, he's not dead!
And Gangs does finally fall, but it's going to be a 3 for 1 thus far. And it's another play in the bot side that DFM outplay.
I mean,
404, V3's bot lane not found.
I was going to say something along those lines. And this is going to be a dragon going over to DFM as a consequence of this too. Ace didn't teleport down yet again. Well, no, he did teleport down on the last time. But this time again, it's Seros coming in for the huge hero play. Gets himself another shuffle. Unfortunately, Gang does fall, but it's still advantage DFM. Huge advantage DFM.
It really is. And just look back over this again. Like, it's the bullet time. They find the hook. It's turned around. The plays continue. And then just from here, it gets messy.
It goes from bad to worse. The teleport from Ornn is good. I like the thought. It's a really good Inferno, actually. Hitting both of them. Gang has his flash available, not actually too afraid of the immediate turnaround from the Call of the Forge God. Reyna just takes way too much damage at the end of that play, and Utapon is free to strut his way out of that. That's such a good stuff.
Oh, man. I cannot believe he as long as he did.
Yeah. Just shuffles them against the wall. It's not quite as buggy as it was on release, where technically it counted as like this impassable terrain stuff. You just be bounced up between the wall and the Azir wall for forever. It does actually shuffle you the other side of it now.
But Ebby got first turret while that was going on. The turret in the mid lane's gone down as well. They got another 3 kills. It's 10-5 in that score, and they're up about 4,000 gold.
It's kind of difficult for me, right? Because actually, I would have really liked them to wait for a couple of zillion items before making a lot of these plays. But the issue has been forced by DFM. And you are playing with Rek'Sai. Rek'Sai is an early game jungler. Rek'Sai wants to find some advantages. Rek'Sai does have 3 kills. It's going pretty well for Boogie. You know, he's really good on this champion. That's why he's had so much success on it in the regular season. But DFM have answers to everything that V3 want to do with us right now.
I think Seros might have actually died during that replay because he's now 3-2-4. Yeah. So I wonder whether he may have died somewhere around there.
Yeah, I think he died to Boogie, yeah.
I think Boogie managed to pick him up there somewhere along that line. Though I think Boogie died as well as a result, possibly.
Maybe. So they could go again onto that. They have
about it, but the GLP did, and that's a pretty good use of the Sarima shuffle. The GLP didn't properly hit, and well played by Seros to stay alive.
Yeah, I think if the GLP hits there, maybe they flash under turret after the Sarima shuffle's used. But anyway, it doesn't land. These are passives used. These are ults used. No kill onto Seros again. This time, he was again, like you were saying, set at 3-2-4. Did die at one time there.
Boogie's in a bit of a difficult spot. There's a lantern available, but he uses the tunnel instead. Steel picked up the second Herald as well while they were trying to make that play up top side, and the full court press from DFM continues.
It does. There are 2 turrets down on the side of V3 now. They lost their mid and top lane outer turrets. Boogie getting a little bit well done hit. That's the GLP. So good in his choke
taking
points.
A fair amount of damage, but there's just not enough items onto this Zillion to make it sting yet.
No, not quite. There was, however, a sting in the stinger on Seros. That's an Ashes tooth.
It is. He's also gone towards that blasting one. I wonder whether we're going towards a Morello second here.
It could be that. Could also be a Leandri's.
Yeah, it would make a lot of sense.
You know, there are quite a few people that are going to be stacking a little bit of HP because the Ornn and the Rek'Sai both do that.
Needs to be a little careful which way he's walking here because Paz is in that bush, but he just backs away safely. On the wrong side of the lane for my taste, but either way, he gets out without being punished for it.
I actually think that was an opportunity because of the back timings from DFM. Of course, V3 didn't know that, didn't have the vision, didn't have the information about who was resetting where and when. So we are back to a quiet time in the game. Some might call it a lull state.
They may. If they were from a particular region.
I like to call it charging the spirit bomb. We're waiting for the next big thing to happen, so send them your energy.
My problem is the spirit bomb is charging faster for DFM right now, who have got themselves nearly towards the Leandries on that Azir, and it's a second item in for the Misfortune, who's 4-0-5. That is
terrifying.
Terrifying, yes.
Stuff of nightmares.
The stuff of
Lovecraftian horror.
All of these things. Someone better be praying to Cthulhu because there is some monstrous stuff coming out from the deeps. And no Nautilus this time, though, to really fill it in on that metaphor.
No Alawi?
No, none of those. That's very true.
Things, which are also similarly Lovecraftian.
They are similarly Lovecraftian. Yeah. But I wouldn't necessarily put Misfortune in that category, but I suppose she's build order. That kind of makes at least some sense. I mean, Queen of Monsters, maybe you could say. But until that point,
Terror is in the eye of the beholder.
Terror is in the eye of the beholder.
Herald Summon Bot.
And
that's pretty up there.
And the eye of the Herald is what's being beheld right here. And Bot Tower will go down. Charge comes through. They'll get a second one on the top lane turret as well as the Cloud Drake will be spawning in a minute. And DFM just casually picking up a lot of money here. Last outer tower down for them. They get a tower shove on the top side. That's down to about 1/4 HP as well.
There is a chance
V3 in this bush.
Still might walk in here.
He is going to, but Seros is around the bow. That was sensible. Does avoid the bombs as well. And the push on the bot side continues because they know where the rest of V3 is. They know they can't fight it as well. That's a bit of damage onto Utapon, though.
They actually saved the turret somehow.
Yeah, they do. I think Utapon was just a bit afraid of his health bar, but he's been healed back up by the fact that Tarek can do that. Ace is here, does throw down that slow onto
son.
Steel, but he's just going to back away, having not taken huge amounts of damage. And they're just looking to wrestle control of vision into this jungle, so V3 have no way to come in and contest this Cloud Soul.
Yeah, and DFM's shielding defensive play has been on point this game. Steel's been everywhere that Boogie wants to be. Saros actually flashes over the
and now he's in a bit of trouble. He's going to die, I think. No, he's found his way out. That was smooth, but the bombs are on top.
Him.
And now Ace is in trouble in return, though.
This could be it. This could be the fight.
It could be the fight. They're looking to try and find their way, but Ace now has had that Chrono Shift wear off. Ebby and Steel are looking to find their way in. Bogey's in a bit of a difficult spot. He's used that Void Rush. Gang is low. The Tarek almost being charged, and they can't kill anybody in time. They're invulnerable, and Paz having to flash out. The pillar was once again superb, and that means that Paz
Archer's flashed over.
Archer has flashed over. I'm not sure he wanted to do that, because that bullet time was huge. And Boogie goes down to that. And that is what you get for having 2 items on Misfortune.
Yeah, that's a huge amount of damage coming from Utapon. The slow was really big onto Boogie, and he just couldn't make it out there in time. You could see what V3 were thinking. We got the first pick. Saros isn't here. He's going to be respawning the next couple of seconds, though, so I'm not sure if they really want to fight
teleport. And I thought Saros had made the stylish escape, finding his way into that blue buff. The bomb was on top.
They have the Void Rush as well.
So great flash from Boogie.
Yeah, great flash from Boogie right over the Streamer Shuffle. You can see what he's capable of in this champion, but the pieces aren't fitting from V3. The lead is once again in the hands of DFM, and they are playing with style with it.
They really are. It's 5-0-6 for this Misfortune. It's a Leandry's complete on the Azir. This Gnar is 40C up, has got 2 completed items as well. V3, that was a good try from V3, but it felt like that was a little bit like that was their play.
I agree. I think they invested so much into that. I think that the pieces could have come together there. The Call of the Forge God was very close to working out. I think maybe if Boogie had gone over towards the bot lane. I mean, there were 2 flashes from Archer and Reyna to try and close that distance as well. It was really tight run things, but this is what happens when it comes down to the outplay situation, where you're not trying to make the calculated plays, you're trying to make the outplay instead, and the outplays are going the way of DFM right now.
And Utapon had the item advantage in that last fight. Archer backed. He picked up a Hurricane after the fight.
Yeah.
And imagine if that had been available, that extra item would have been pretty massive, but it wasn't there. And that means for now, and I keep saying that phrase because it always feels like there's a bit of a room. He's probably dead, actually. He's got no way out. Yeah, he was in a difficult position. We've seen this a few times. The stopwatch is there, but I don't think there's any way of saving him. And this time, Utapon cannot outplay, and the shutdown goes the way of Rek'Sai.
It does, yeah. So Rek'Sai picking up another load of gold there, and it's extra pressure over the side of V3. You're not going to have that Misfortune sat clearing the wave while you've got the Azir in the bot lane as well. Might buy them some time to press into mid lane, get themselves some vision around the map in a position of their choosing. Of course, the Baron is actually up and available. I'm not sure they want to go for it right now, but they're certainly going towards it.
Ornn and Azir on the top side.
Yeah, they decide this is it. They decide it.
Yeah, Saros is going to try and avoid it. Yeah, he shoves it out of the way, and that's going to stop that teleport in. Azir has still got his. Maybe he can turn it around. Utapon is not here yet. He's still dead. It's a 4 versus 4. Here comes the Cosmic Radiance. It'll be Ebby. It's 3 tanks. I'm like, Archie's taking very low, though. I think he's just going to go down. He's got the Chrono Shift on, and there's a Mega Gnar coming up now. Look at Ebby. Saros is here. He teleported in. He's not stopped. And that means Ace goes down. That's a big shuffle in. Archer's going to fall as well. It's 3 kills, 4 kills. No, it is just the 3. I apologize for none. Baron over to DFM, and I think
that could be
series over. V3 tried it again. They thought they had the pick. They were running out of options, and
what a play by Saros once again. You know, like Paz, he didn't back up enough. He didn't respect the Streamer Shuffle. Teleport was cancelled, and Saros managed to make his way into the fight before Paz can. Paz went through this entire phase of play without using the Call of the Forge God. Didn't manage to cancel the Azir teleport. Didn't manage to teleport himself. I think it was a good idea to go for the Baron while he had this momentary advantage. Remember, Utapon isn't even alive during all this. Gang's ult doesn't reach Steel, so Boogie tries to. Archer's tanking Baron. He has the Zillion ult himself. But then Ebby hasn't even used the Mega Gnar yet. He manages to act and then land. Archer's just stuck alone in the pit, taking all of his health bar from the Baron in damage. And yeah, good teleport from Saros. Once again, this guy has been performing so well, and this is it.
I have, and I've got to agree. And like, it's not just that. You saw Paz ping out on the mini-map, Saros, who managed to shuffle his way into a space with no vision, randomly into the Wolf Pit. Paz went wandering down the lane to find the Azir. Couldn't cancel the ultimate.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's really well played from Saros, and once that's what third teleport, which has been turning the tides of our play into the favor of DFM. He's just been running over this game so much on this Azir.
He really has, and with all the gold, all the Baron buff, and a lot of pressure already onto the base, V3 have got one last roll of the dice. They've got to try and find something now, or their series and their playoffs are done.
Yeah, and you know what's kind of weird? So it looks like Ace is actually going towards a Luden the second. He's already got the GLP, so he's already got the haste passive in there. If you want
Yeah.
to get up to 40% CDR from that, bit of an odd build, but I guess he wants it just for the poke.
I guess, but that is again a bit of a concern. I'm not sure about that build myself. I did spot it, and I just thought I must be misreading how that passive worked, and I should have called it out. Because Saros is pushing in the top side. That's the last outer tower remaining. V3 have still yet to find a turret in this game.
Yeah, they just haven't had they haven't had the lanes in their favor. Saros once again running over through the mid lane. Bot lane went in the favor of DFM. Utapon and Gang really performing so well this game. And it's going to be all of those people who are aforementioned pushing in the top lane inhibitor turret and probably the inhibitor itself.
Yeah, and with all the turrets falling, it's over a 10,000 gold lead. It's 27 minutes into the game, so it's not even a super late game gold lead. This is just a catastrophic problem for V3, who have got to find some way somehow to try and find a fight, or DFM are going to walk over this game.
Yeah, I guess they're trying to look for bombs here, but
here comes the call of the Forge God. This is it. They're going to try and find the way. Boogie's been slowed, though. That chilling smite stops him. The bullet time is massive, and V3's time is up. The Cosmic Radiance is down, and the stars are decreeing that DFM win this game in a 4 versus 5. Red turret's being destroyed. Ebby's got himself a Mega. No, he's hopping in. He gets onto Archer. He's gone as well. It's a 5 versus 3, and there's no one left alive to stop this push. There's no wave clear. And I think they've done it, Al. DFM will be looking for a rematch, a grudge match, to reclaim their crown in the finals tomorrow. GG, DFM.
3-1 to DFM, 3-1 to our heirloom Titans in the LJL, who, as you said, will be looking for that rematch against the awaiting finalists of Sengoku, who will have been watching with eagle eyes in this series, as DFM showed they are not to be trifled with. Series is over. We have our winners. Mass Swan. What did you think?
That was my
I was thinking, is it my Discord this time?
Wow, so dramatic. I'm like, oh, that's...
He's gone. He's left.
Is it a moment of silence?
I am kind of a little bit stunned. That was a very strong performance by DFM. Almost a complete turnaround. We have talked about countless times that we are concerned about their drafting phase. We are concerned about Siros's pool, and we're concerned that they're not going to be learning from their past mistakes of those few losses that they did get in the spring split, and also against Sengoku. This seems like a very different DFM. This looks like the kind of DFM that we expected going into playoffs. This is playoffs DFM, and they want their crown. They want to win. And what a way to do it.
And I think particularly for V3 fans, like, maybe they'll feel a bit maligned that, it wasn't patch 10.5 still. It's 10.8. It's 3 patch difference. There was a lot of adaptation from DFM. A lot of champions which V3 perhaps would have crutched on in a previous patch weren't so good today. I mean, the Nocturne mid, some which they played before, didn't come out today. It was nerfed on patch 10.7. As much as the grades worked out for them, and they did work well around that pick, DFM just showed they had a hold on this meta, whereas perhaps they didn't on earlier patches. But DFM, worthy winners. They were so cohesive as a team, and they played with style. Congratulations.
They really did. And, I have to compliment them on their ability to find multiple advantages in multiple lanes. Teleports to the bot lane that were really cohesive, that found multiple kills and turnarounds. Great outplays from the bot lane with DFM. Saros and Ebby finding good advantages within their lanes, 30 CS leads plus for both of them, multiple games in a row. That's serious credit. Steel, tracking Boogie's early game. He was struggling to find lanes where he wasn't being counter-ganked. And that's just credit to DFM as a whole and as a team. And they looked so much slicker in this series.
I mean, it raises a lot of questions when you're going to if you're in the face of Sengoku, right? This is not the same DFM you faced a month ago, so there's going to be a lot of change also from the side of Sengoku as well. They're sitting in this final spot. They said, no, it's our time. DFM begged to differ. It's gonna be a exciting series tomorrow. We will be covering that series live again. It will be at 9 a.m. British Standard Time. Just convert that. Will go on to the local LOL Esports, as they do have the time zone for you in regards to when it goes live. Yes, for the official stream, they actually have a nice time zone thing to tell you when it's going to go live for you. So, I mean, if you're interested, thank you, by the way, for everybody that's been in Twitch chat and viewed our stream today. It's been honestly incredible.
Yeah, that's it.
I mean,
I saw you having an argument in chat. It's like,
at least there's a discussion happening there, right?
Yeah, exactly. No, it's really nice to interact with you guys.
Only the finest of gentlemen interact in Twitch chat, obviously. Only the finest of ladies and gentlemen. Obviously, we have to tip the hat to everybody. Like, God, I've gone down a rabbit hole. I'm not okay with this, but.
Stop.
This was a series from DFM that defied expectations, destroyed their opponents. Well, I don't know if you expected it to be like this, though. No, but the way that it went, obviously, initially.
No, particularly that game, game three, where raised my eyebrows. I wasn't expecting that bot lane demolition. This last game was more what I was expecting from DFM. Cohesive play across multiple lanes. Yeah, very impressive stuff. We saw Archer put out decent damage on the Aphelios, but multiple lanes doing good stuff for DFM.
And Saros is back, baby.
Yeah, that's a big one for me. It really is.
Saros is back. And that brings us to the end of the cast. I'm going to hand it over to Initialize and Nomera for any of their closing thoughts regarding everything that we've seen here.
Can I ask a question about who on earth would you give MVP to here?
That's a good point, actually. I think I'd be giving it to Saros myself. We'll talk about it on podcasts and we'll talk about it on other stuff, but I think I'd give it to Saros. I think that given the narrative which I personally had in my head for Saros in terms of him on the downswing coming into playoffs, having problems with his champion pool, having problem with some of his positioning and some of his awareness, he came out with 3 fantastic games in their wins. And yeah, no, really blew me away personally.
Mine would be Utapon. I think
really huge.
I think Utapon had just hard carried game 3 basically, and just was like, lol, we get a free win here, and to a degree a similar aspect in game 4 as well.
Well, I think Saros with his teleports in game 4 was the real MVP.
That's just it.
I think that
I'm torn between Utapon and Saros myself.
Like that first double kill was so huge. The bot lane, the shuffle and bot lane,
I just remember game 2, Utapon actually had a good game with Saros, perhaps didn't.
True. Yeah.
And that might be something to consider. But it's hard to say because the Xerath in game 1 was fantastic. It goes swings and roundabouts.
Yeah, not everyone played well. It's not an easy decision either way.
Absolutely.
So, watch our podcast. We'll talk about it more.
We've got to think about it.
Comes out Thursday at 5 p.m. British Standard Time also. We try and have things come out consistent times as well. Nomera, any closing thoughts?
Honestly, just thank you for everyone who's watching, supporting us. You know, we do this off our own backs, say it all the time. It's been a pleasure working with these two. It's been a long time coming. We have waited a month for this. It's great to be back in the casting booth, bedroom, whatever it is, for us. And yeah, it's great to have you guys alongside us to witness it with us. Thank you.
And with that all said, we do have, as you can see below us, our Instagram and Twitter handles, both for the officials, for our own unofficial podcast stream, everything else, Twitter page, as well as our own individual ones of Master1, Nomera, and Initialize with one for the L, because Twitter is a devil sometimes when trying to get your handles. We also have a Discord, which you can find the link right below the stream as well if you're interested in joining the LJL community. But with that all said, we'll be back tomorrow, 9 a.m. British Standard Time, to find out who will reign victorious from DFM facing off against Sengoku Gaming. Take care and have a lovely rest of your day.